Hello everybody and welcome back. We've had a nice week of recovery since we climbed Mount Everest, or as I like to call it, we cooked 3 pies last week. Never thought I would ever do that in my whole life. Pretty sure I'm the first person ever to do it on Earth, or at least it felt like that. Don't fact check. We cooked 3 pies last week and it kind of beat my ass a little bit. We did it though, and I'm proud of that, right? Like, we did our research, we made pies. All 3 of them were edible. Nothing got burnt or set on fire. So in my book, which is a very short book, there's a very long epilogue and a word from the author is just me screaming. That's a win. So we're coming off of a big win here. Okay, a big Thanksgiving win where we made 3 pies. We did it to them. You guys did it to them too. But I figured today would be a fun week to do a snack recipe because we haven't done a snack since I did the Cool Ranch Doritos, which I really enjoyed. I've made chips a couple of times here on the show, and I think that's one of those things that is so easy to just go and buy. But if you take a little bit extra time and you make it yourself, I don't know, it's a little bit special, you know? There's a touch of love and effort that goes into it that you just can't find in the bag at 7-Eleven. What you can find in the bag at 7-Eleven is a better version, and that's not going anywhere. So don't worry, if you try to make your own and you fail, you just go to 7-Eleven and get the good one. I also thought it would be a good week for snacks because, well, I kind of need a little bit more of a simple recipe to follow this week. I learned in the comments of last video that I pretty much acted out a scene in Friends where I think Rachel is her name, cooks half of one pie and then the page turns and finishes the recipe on the wrong page, which is nearly what I did. It was a tough week of cooking, but we did it. And as you guys saw, it was a beast of an episode. So today, we're gonna dial it back a little bit and we're gonna make some snacks. Specifically, cheez-its. Cheez-its, a very popular snack here in the land that I live. I can't eat them, shocker. So we're gonna make a version that I can eat. And supposedly it's pretty easy. We're gonna cut out the cheese and we're left with its. So we're gonna make some its and we're gonna substitute the first part. So get ready to do it to them. We're gonna make some cheez-its, hold the cheese, bring the its, and I don't know. Let's make some snacks, shall we? Did everyone leave? Okay, so we have our food processor, which is all we're gonna need in terms of making the actual Cheez-Its. We're gonna turn it into a dough with the food processor, and then we're gonna lay it out on our work surface with some flour and turn it into Cheez-Its. But I think we'll probably use our big cutting board for that part. In the meantime, preheat your oven to 350 degrees. Oh yeah? What else do you got, recipe? What else do you got? We are going to add a bunch of dry ingredients here, starting with some all-purpose flour, 2/3 a cup. So we're gonna take 1 perfect 1/3 of a cup, dump it in there, and then another perfect 1/3 of a cup. Then we're gonna take 1/4 a cup of oat flour, a little less perfect. Then you're gonna take some yellow cornmeal, which we've had in the house, and I'm pretty sure we've used this 3 straight weeks in a row. So if you don't have cornmeal in your house, you should try it. It's very handy. 3 tablespoons. We're gonna do 1/4 teaspoon of baking powder, 1 teaspoon of sea salt. Yes, we sea salt, but do we hear salt? We're gonna do 1/2 teaspoon of garlic powder, and I'm actually gonna do a little improv here because in addition to the tablespoon of nutritional yeast that we'll be adding, which is amazing, I'm also gonna add some of this, which is a popcorn seasoning we found at the grocery store that has a cheesy kind of flavor without actually having cheese. It smells really good. We use it all the time when we make popcorn at home, which is more than you'd actually think. Especially ever since we bought a popcorn maker, it's so much fun. So I'm just gonna do a little bit of this to kind of add to the cheesiness, because after all, we have to provide all the cheese so that the it can join forces and make this just an incredible, epic snack. All right, so we got this actually nice and mixed together. So it sort of looks like a mix between a flour and like a seasoning, which is really exciting because I like flour and I like seasoning. Then we're gonna take our plant-based butter. How much of this do we need? How much of this? 3 tablespoons. We're gonna do 3 tablespoons of this and I think melt it down. Next up is we're gonna take the entire serving of vegan butter, add it to the food processor, and we are gonna pulse. And this is gonna sort of make it a little bit crumbly, I think. Then we're gonna add our cold water. This is in a little container where there's ice and water, and we're gonna add a tablespoon of cold water at a time, up to 4 tablespoons. So I think between 2 and 4 is what we're shooting for. And this is gonna sort of, I think, bind this all together into more of like a dough. I already didn't listen. I'm gonna do it while I'm mixing. This is high level shit right here. I'm actually gonna take a spatula or a little spoon, get it off the edges, because it's kind of clumping up on the sides. Ooh, this smells real damn good. Holy crap. All right, I'm gonna do a little bit more. This is our 4th tablespoon, I'll do a half. I kind of think we've gotten to a good point here. It looks like a good consistency. It's not too floury or too crumbly, but also it's not too doughy. But I think it looks like good enough to be able to work into a dough. So now we're gonna get our water out of here, get our food processor out of here, and we are gonna take our parchment paper covered work surface and start putting the dough on here and turning it into Cheez-It dough. And then we're gonna, I think, get it all really flat, but get your cutting board and put a sheet of parchment paper, and then get ready for some cheese to happen, baby. All right, step number 1 is we're gonna take some oat flour, or whatever flour you like, and you're gonna lightly flour your work surface so nothing sticks. And then we're going to take our Cheez-It dough and we're gonna form it into a ball. All right, so it says in this recipe, just make sure you're not kneading it, you're just kind of forming it into a ball, and then later we're gonna turn it into a disc, which is like kind of gonna turn into our flat sheet of Cheez-Its. And right now it's actually working pretty well. Obviously this recipe doesn't call for gluten-free flour, but we're using it. So you're just gonna keep working it until it feels kind of comfortable enough to set down, I think. And we're gonna now do that and watch it split at the corners. Every day, gluten strays further from God. Here's the best part of this, right? Once we bake these, there's no excuse. They're gonna crunch and crumble just like any cracker or chip would. So if we can just get these things in the oven, we're doing our job. It says to use a rolling pin, but as you guys know, I have an irrational fear of rolling pins because of all the horrible gluten-free dough we've used over the years. So we are just going to hand press this sheet out, and I think you want to get it pretty thin. I don't know exactly how thin, but I'm just going to make it as thin as I think a Cheez-It is. So your knowledge of Cheez-Its and snack sizes will definitely come in handy should you make this recipe at home. And if it breaks apart, you just say, hey, don't do that ever again, or else you're out of my kitchen and you're going outside. Okay, the raccoons can have you. Just threaten it. Because if you threaten your food, it's like when you put love in your food. It's just a strong emotion that affects the food very severely and might help you feel better about yourself. And then you eat the food and then, I forgot where I was going with this. So you're gonna keep pressing it out unless you're brave enough to use a rolling pin. I do not have that kind of bravery. This also doesn't look the right color. So this might turn into like, I don't know, vomit colored Cheez-Its, but again, when have we been about presentation? It's all about taste here, baby. It's all it's ever been about. And here's where we're going to actually just cut them into Cheez-Its. So when you feel like they're thin enough or you're just sick of doing this part, you're gonna take your pizza cutter and you're gonna cut in rows and then columns, or rows and then columns to make little Cheez-Its. Oh my God, we're just like cutting up Cheez-Its. This is wild. I think it turns out to be like 1 inch by 1 inch, the average Cheez-It, or that's what I'm doing. I don't know. You can make big ass Cheez-Its if you want. Okay, now for literally the most important part of the entire recipe. You're gonna take a toothpick and take the dull side, if there is one, and you're gonna put a little dimple in the center of each Cheez-It. Because branding, and the end, that's it, branding. You just wanna make them look like Cheez-Its so that we can brand them as Cheez-Its. Welcome to law class with Julien. Make sure not to go too hard with the dimples here, because you don't want to go all the way through. You're just making a little cosmetic change. This dough does not have to go under for this procedure. They can be awake. They don't even need anesthesia. We're just poking it. I don't know why they're doing this. Seems like an unnecessary medical procedure, and it's very expensive. We are going to take our parchment paper and we are going to slowly transfer it onto a baking sheet, and we're gonna actually kind of like spread these out a little bit. Well, these are gonna be thick boy Cheez-Its. I hope you guys are okay with that. When you share amongst yourselves, you'll have thicker Cheez-Its to share, okay? No complaining, or else I'm telling Mom. She's not gonna like to hear that. All right, well, 12 to 17 minutes, which is a weirdly big range of time, but we'll keep a close eye on them, see how they do. Let's make some Cheez-Its, baby. Hey Google, timer, 12 minutes.
DJ Khaled is in my room.
DJ Khaled is in my room. All right, Jenna has to go in a minute, and these aren't completely done, but I want her to taste it just for the taste.
I love cheese.
Just forgive the texture. They're not as crunchy as they will be in the final form.
Okay.
Okay. I'm gonna grab one with my hand. All right, you guys will see the reveal in a sec, but Jenna, here's your Cheez-It.
Why don't you just...
Still pretty hot.
Very hot.
Oh, so they're not as crunchy as they'll be in the end, because they're still not done, but since you have to go, I wanted
The
you to...
flavor is good. The texture, not my favorite. It's not a Cheez-It.
It's like a biscuit.
Mm-hmm. But that's gluten-free flour for you.
That's gluten-free flour for you. Also, it's not done yet.
Uh-huh.
So once it finishes, it should be like crispy.
Nothing about this, though, is going to make me stop eating it. Like, it's good.
So that's all we care about.
Me personally, yeah.
And me, I just want food to be good. So we did it to him?
Yeah, you kind of did it to him.
All right, well, once you see them crunchy, I'll leave some over for you, but...
Okay.
All
The
right.
flavor really is good, though. They're, like, salty and snacky. Like, I would snack on that.
Okay.
And I wish that, like, the Earth Balance makes the Cheez-Its, the vegan ones, but
I wish they were
that
gluten-free.
make gluten-free.
I know. I know. I know.
It's an
I know.
underserved market.
Underserved market. Hey, where you at? Gluten-free Cheez-Its. Well, I'm gonna let those crisp up a little bit. I honestly think 5 or 10 more minutes to like get them real crispy and like golden brown, because Cheez-Its are meant to be like crackers, not like little biscuits. So we'll let them do their thing in there. You'll see them soon enough. All right, well, it's been just about like 25, 27 minutes, I think. I left them in for nearly double the amount of time it asked for. And I think the main reason for that is because A, mine are a little bit thicker. Then I think 1/8 of an inch is how thick you should have rolled it out to be. But B, I made them thicker because of the gluten-free flour, and I think they're having to cook longer because they're just a little bit thicker. They're kind of like thin little biscuits. Here we go. Well, this is our final product. Okay, I'm gonna be honest. These look like dog biscuits, but who the fuck cares what they look like, right? Are they good? That's the question. Listen, this isn't the most beautiful looking thing we've ever made, but I think the flavor is really there. So let's try one. Oh my goodness. That is really good. Oh my God, it's like so cheesy. You know what's weird is like, it doesn't have the orange color. It sort of looks like those white cheddar Cheez-Its, the one that are a little more pale. And like I said, I made these a little thicker than I was supposed to, but that doesn't bother me at all, honestly. Like, they're really, really good. They have the cheesy flavor, they're salty, they're crunchy. I think they have that like intense cheesy flavor. And I think what the seasonings we added, the popcorn seasoning, the onion powder, the nooch, like all of that sort of contributed to make it like a Cheez-It. We really brought the cheese to the it. Like, I don't have much that I would improve on this. I think if you want to have a little fun, make a little snack, this is definitely a good one to make. And as far as that popcorn seasoning, I just found it at a local grocery store. I don't know where you could buy it. Maybe Amazon. Oh, someone, that was the laziest jump ever. Peach, there's garlic powder in this. I can't give it to you. Are you looking for a job? I heard you owe mommy money. Why do you owe mommy money? Have you been taking money from mommy? Are you a thief? You're really cute. I love you. I don't know, like this is really cool. Like we made Cheez-Its, and even though they look like dog biscuits, they taste like Cheez-Its, I think. It's like a mix between a dog biscuit and a Cheez-It. If you were a dog, you would really like this. Even if you're a human, you'd like this. But you can also be a dog and like this. Just cut out the garlic powder. Or you can crawl around on all fours and eat these and pretend to be a dog. Dude, I really don't have much else to say. This is a delicious, delicious recipe. And I think it gives you exactly what you're looking for when you're talking about homemade Cheez-Its. It's like, they taste like homemade Cheez-Its. Straight up, simple as that. And this was a win. And yes, I'm the judge and I'm the competitor. So what about it? I don't care. That's not a conflict of interest. I don't care. This is a 10 out of 10. Thank you, judge. You're welcome, competitor. Shall we eat Cheez-Its on all fours? Here's what I implore you to do if you have a lot of free time. Make these and then crawl around on all fours and eat them. Just be careful not to choke. And don't eat them off the floor, because that's real dog behavior. And that's gross. I don't know, I'm just gonna eat some Cheez-Its at home now. Did not even go anywhere. I also didn't even have to go shopping for this recipe. I had like all these ingredients. Hey Google, you want some Cheez-Its? She doesn't want my Cheez-Its. If you, like me, needed a rest from last week with the intense pie recipes, this is a good rebound recipe. It's easy, it's quick, and it's deliciously cheesy, okay? That's it. Make it and put them in your advent calendar. For humans, put one Cheez-It in every day for your advent calendar. You're welcome and thank you. You wanna try one? Here you go.
Fun.
It's good?
Mm-hmm. It's a very thick cracker.
Yeah,
But that's the reality.
I told him it's like a dog biscuit mixed with a Cheez-It. Don't get mad at me when I do it to him, because you know we had to. Woof, woof, give me some of those dog biscuits.
I don't mind being a dog. I don't mind being a dog.
I'll be a dog for your biscuits. Ow, my legs are sore. Thanks for watching.